to our leading story and just take our viewers back to Bloemfontein, and that's where we'll find our senior reporter Chriselda Lewis, who joins us now from Bloemfontein, of course, at the memorial service of the 3 police constables. So, Chriselda, very good afternoon to you. What a moving tribute that we've been hearing since the better part of this morning. Just walk us through what transpired at the memorial service today.
Well, Inati, incredibly moving. We saw not just the families, but also dignitaries break down as they remembered the 3 officers whose bodies were found in the Henops River. Tribute after tribute spoke about young people who had so much dedication and so much ahead of them in the new careers that they started, and how their lives had been cut short by this tragedy. The families that spoke here spoke about young people with so much spunk, with so much life. And even though, when the sermon had commenced, you would often hear words that would comfort families, that would speak about how people have a purpose. So the message, I think, that was taken from here was that the purpose that these young people had tried to fulfill, perhaps they had done so, and it was their time. That was the message, certainly, from the sermon here. But, words of comfort to the families. When we saw the Premier of the Free State also pay tribute, she also broke down and was later comforted by a very emotional Deputy Minister of Police, Polly Bushielo, as well. And the families were absolutely inconsolable. At some point, some of them had to, bring in some emergency services to try and, console them. It's a very difficult moment for them. While, of course, this memorial service is taking place, we'd spoken to the families during the course of this morning, together with my colleague Keamogetswe, who I will bring in just about a moment. And the words that they spoke about was once relating to the comfort that they've received, but also the fact that they still want answers. Keamogelo, in the conversations that you had with the families, today is a day of remembrance for these young people, but these families still want answers pertaining to some of the unanswered questions, I guess.
When we spoke to the families this morning, I actually spoke to the Senoge as well as the base family. As much as there is so much gratitude that is coming from the families, in terms of the fact that their children were found, the questions that remain for them is how exactly did these 3 constables end up in the Henops River, and even with the vehicle that was found there, the question is it really an accident? Can we know what was the last thing that happened before this vehicle capsized, as it has been reported? So these are critical questions that they're saying they want responses from the authorities.
Keamogelo, you've been with the families throughout the course of, in fact, since the story broke, and you've been working on it here in Bloemfontein before, of course, we had joined you. So you felt much of what the families had gone through and the sentiments that they're sharing. My colleague Keamogetswe, who is based here in Bloemfontein, who's carried the story, spoken to the families, and I think the sentiments that she talks about the base and the Senoge family, when we also spoke to the other family members a bit earlier on today, the very same sentiments are shared. Yes, they somewhat believe it was an accident, but they want to know what led to that accident. I guess those are questions as they bury their loved ones in the next coming days. We're talking about on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. They're hoping that before they're able to bury their children, there would at least be some answers. Unati, back to you in studio.